Welcome back. Of course, once a week we check in with Sean Zears, the interim broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, to talk about Wild hockey. They spent the weekend up in Prince George. Not so victorious on Friday night. A nice victory on Saturday night. Road victories in the BCHL are hard to come by. We'll take things chronologically. Although they lost, Sean, 3-1 on Friday night to Prince George, it was actually closer than that. And the one thing that jumped out at me, not a lot of shots on goal. Both teams combined only had 50. That's kind of odd. Let's talk about Friday night's tough loss.
Well, I think the one thing that's most important about Friday's loss is that they were in the game for about 52 minutes of it, and it was just an unfortunate turnover by David Hayduk, who's been steady all year long. It was pretty much the difference of the game. Otherwise, it probably would have went into overtime. Just both teams played really close to the cup. And again, in Prince George, it is a very shorter rink. So you're not going to get like the long passes. You're not going to have the open ice that's going to allow you to develop things more. It's kind of crowded. So it kind of favored Wenatchee a little bit, which was kind of nice to see because they were out skating Prince George a lot. But yeah, they just didn't get a lot of shots on goal. And of course, Tyler Shea just played out of his head on Friday night, and the second goal, the game-winning goal that he gave up, there really wasn't much he would do because it was kind of a point-blank shot right in front, right in the middle of the ice that the guy was at. So really not a whole lot you could ask for Wenatchee other than just, again, having those lulls where you're not playing to your fullest, attempt during the middle of the game. But Chris was happy with the effort. He just wished that it could have been a different outcome.
It was probably a pretty good idea that luck occasionally does play a role. It does. It's as simple as that. I mean, you could outshoot the team, outskate the team, outplay the team, outcheck them, and still lose games like 3-1. It's the nature of the beast of hockey, isn't it?
Oh, it surely is. Yeah, especially when you get up on a 1-0 lead early. Both games, in fact, Friday and Saturday night, they scored on the power play, and to take a 1-0 lead. And when you just get the right bounces, especially up in that building where those boards are very lively, it's just a matter of being at the right place at the right time. And for Prince George, it was that case because Wenatchee played a perfect game almost until that one little moment, and then unfortunately the wheels just fell off. So yeah, 100%. Luck has a lot to do with a lot of things in hockey, depending on where you're at on the ice, how the puck actually lands on your stick, things like that. Because you can practice all you want passing and shooting, but there could be variants that change things. And for the Wild, it was just unfortunate that there was a guy right there that was about 2 feet away when David made the mistake, and it cost him.
Tyler Shea was phenomenal between the pipes on Friday, but he was exceptionally good on Saturday. Basically single-handedly won the game. The Wild won in a shootout, 2-1. He stopped 40 of 41 shots, Mr. Shea did. He was a one-man wall. There was just no way they were going to pierce that cellophane, was there?
No, not at all. And the goal that he gave up, I think he probably went back at this point because he wanted the shootout or shutout. Even in the shootout, he just was locked. He just looked like there was nothing that was going to get by him. And it really, to be quite honest, if you took him and put him in that situation in the games, a few of these other games where they had, they lost, I think we'd have a different scenario with the scheduling with Wenatchee. I mean, he just looked amazing on Saturday night. Made some really key saves when he needed to, because the team neither team was scoring, to be quite honest. And the only goal that he gave up on Saturday was 37 seconds in. And again, he would want that back because it was just one of those rare mistakes that he had made. And, you can't be perfect. I mean, honestly, no one's perfect in anything. So Tyler didn't get hard on himself, and he just got back right in the crease and played a phenomenal game for the rest of the game and carried them into the shootout as well.
To me, the key was the second period. Wenatchee was outshot 15-6 in their victory in the second period on Saturday night. Usually that doesn't bode too well, but we only 6 shots in goal for Wenatchee in the entire second period. But again, Tyler was phenomenal. Anything that came his way just wasn't going to happen.
Well, and you had mentioned that second period being outshot 15-6. That is usually the period where they falter the most. They have been outscored 56, 38, or 39, I believe. Arch gave me that stat last week when the team was playing against Cranbrook, and the second period is snake bitten them all year long. And it was really good to see them keep the lead going into the third period rather than having it lost or having the game tied. And most, if not all of that, had to do with Tyler, because he stood on his head and kept the puck out of the net. And I have to say that on both Friday and Saturday night, they were playing with 6 defensemen, but one of those defensemen was an affiliate player they had just brought up. And he was very instrumental in the win as well on Saturday night, because it was his second game that he played. And when you only have technically 5 defensemen that have played all year long, obviously they're going to get a little bit more ice time, and those line changes were quick and short, needless to say, especially for the D. So credit the defense both on Friday and Saturday night for just having 5 D guys and having to mix up those pairings for the most part. It showed that they could. Adversity is something that they went through on Friday and Saturday with no problem.
From a goalie's perspective, talking again about Tyler Shea on a Saturday night, he played all 60 minutes in regulation, then the 5-minute overtime. But when we get to the shootout, as a goalie, you don't have to worry about a weird bounce off the boards or a deflection by a defenseman that goes in that you can't see because you're being blocked. It's just mano-a-mano hockey. From a goalie's standpoint, what does a goalie do to prepare himself for a shootout, as opposed to there's 12 people on the ice?
I've never really asked a goalie this question, and I think that's something that when I get up there next week, I'm going to talk to Tyler and Andy and ask them what kind of preparation they have when it comes to these shootouts. Because most goalies that I know of, they literally are in the mindset of, well, I just don't let the puck get behind me, and I got to cut the angle off as much as I can. That's all you really can do at this point. I mean, you're already tired, and now the game is on your shoulders. And a lot of people don't think that's right. They think that you shouldn't have all that pressure on a goalie after he's played so well. But then again, you have some 6-6 games that go into a shootout, and I mean, that's a little different. Then you could blame the goalie a little bit, maybe, if he's given up that many goals. So I just think that when you get into a shootout, you have to make sure that you know the prior shooters or whoever's on the ice, you know what they're capable of and what kind of shooting style that they have. And it wouldn't surprise me that these goalies watch video and they watch the video of prior shootouts that these teams have had. It's funny. I think Prince George's goalie, who lost on Saturday night, has been involved in every shootout. Their other goalie has not played in a shootout yet. So I don't know if that's coincidence or not, but when you have that kind of film, you start watching it and you just study and you keep in mind if they're going to go backhand first or if they're going to go stick side and how they're going to do that. And once you start learning these motives and how these people work, it becomes a little bit easier.
And now a steady diet of the Vipers. Vernon Tuesday night, and then Vernon back here at the Town Toyota Center over the weekend. Now, we took 2 from Vernon. We played twice this year. We won them both. But that was way back in November. This is an entirely different Vernon Vipers team. They are 8-1-1 in their last 10. So this is not the same team that we beat twice in November, is it?
No, it's not. And this is another test for Wenatchee because – as Wenatchee has gotten better, despite what the record looks like, because their team has gotten a lot better, Vernon is in the same boat. I mean, they can stay up there with the Pentictons and the Salmon Arms, and their goaltending has been phenomenal as well. And I think that this is a great test for Wenatchee to find out, again, how much they've improved, how much they can play. And again, these road games, they're so used to playing on the road. It's not even funny. And when you have limited home games, especially in the month of February, you take advantage of as much as you can. But then again, you've already played up there twice in Vernon, so you have an idea about what to look out for. If there's any nuances, if the boards are lively, and or is there something that you can do differently where you can maybe bounce the puck off somewhere like that. I just think that it's going to be nice to get them back home in front of their home crowd and let them get a little bit of home cooking, because once you get through the month of February, March, you're going to get a lot of home games. So these are very important games against Vernon, especially when you're trying to catch the Cranbrooks and the Vernons up in the standings, especially for playoff seed.
It should be pointed out that we talked about this. We've been talking about this really since the season began. Wenatchee's power play continues to be outstanding. They're third in the league, and in penalty kills, they're fifth in the league. These are statistical categories you want to be at or near the top, and the Wild continue to be impressive in special teams.
Oh, absolutely. Their power play it looked like they were just on all cylinders, despite missing Mario Gasparini on the top line. It was easily filled by Brett Overly, who looked like Mario at one point. So it wasn't like he was out of place or anything like that at all. It's the penalty kill that is really starting to impress me, because at the beginning of the year, we knew that the penalty kill was doing well. It was the power play that wasn't so well. Now you've got both special teams clicking. And if you can get that going on all cylinders starting in March, you might have a good chance of going far in the playoffs, because you're not going to get like 8, 10, 12 penalties called against you, or for that matter, you're not going to go in the power play 12 times, but you take advantage of the chances that you have. And if you can go 1, 2 for 4, 3 for 5 on the power play every game, you're going to win a lot of games. And it same goes if you can kill off 7 or 8 penalties and not give up a power play goal. I'm going to have to look and see when the last time they've actually given up a power play goal. It could have been against Prince George, but even then, before that, it's been so long because they're just that good on the penalty kill.
And this is also the time of the year, really starting now and for the rest of the season, these are now teams that they've played before. So they have a scouting report. They have film that they can study of them actually playing Vernon, instead of seeing, other scouting reports and other films from. So now we're starting to see some of that taking effect. Some of what do we do that worked back in November against Vernon? What can we do to that didn't work, and we can improve in that part. So scouting and film study now really plays a much more significant role than it did even a month ago.
Yeah, absolutely. You have teams that are willing to go ahead and share video with other teams. It's probably commonplace, and to know that it's been a while since you played Vernon, but you can see them. I mean, you can just go back to Hockey TV and watch all the games if you wanted there, because that's pretty much what you're going to be getting from all the other scouting. So I'm sure Chris and Tom and Lee have all been looking at the videos of the last 10 games with Vernon, just trying to see if there's something that they can catch that they can do differently. And same thing with Vernon. I'm sure they're starting to notice that Tyler's going to be the goalie. Hopefully Andy will be back. Of course, he was not in net last weekend, unspecified reason, and they had another affiliate player back him up. So it'll be good to see Andy hopefully back and backing up Tyler so they can give him a break. But, I mean, if Andy's hot, leave him in there. Let him go as much as he wants.
Again, they're at Vernon Tuesday, and then they're home against Vernon on Thursday and Friday. Remember that, folks, Thursday and Friday with the Vernon Vipers in town, including Battle of the Bands, which is going to be a lot of fun. That's Thursday's game, and then Friday's game, Military Appreciation Night, courtesy of our friends at Gill Mortgage. We always like to end our conversation, Sean, with something Wild fans can hang their hat on. So I'll let you dig out the coat rack, my friend, and wrap it up.
David Rayfield, who works for the Wenatchee Wild, was able to sell 750 tickets for the game on Friday night, which is Military Appreciation Night, and $5 of every ticket is going to go to a fellow Wenatchean who had been in the area for a while. His name is Don West. I'm sure you're familiar with Don. He's fighting cancer once again, and David stood on the roof and slept on the roof for 3 days. Until he was able to sell 750 tickets. So congratulations to David for making that goal. Last year it was 500, or 2 years ago it was 500, and this year it was 750. And it just shows the love that everybody in the area has for people that have been entrenched in the area for a while. And it's sad to see people have to go through battles, but when you have the Wild family, and you have Cherry Creek Media, who he's an employer, and everybody help out as much as they can. It's a good feeling. So that's awesome. I think that's fantastic. And I am coming into town next week, so that's kind of exciting too. I get to go and finally get to see Wenatchee up front, up close and personal, and get to go to Canada for the first time ever in my life. So I'm kind of excited about it.
We love Don West. We miss listening to Don's radio program on KPQ. Our love to Don and his family as he continues to fight brain cancer. But I know Don. He's a fighter. He's not going anywhere. He's going to tackle this baby as best he can. And I feel guilty now. I forgot that David was up on the roof selling 750 tickets while I was in Arizona playing golf and getting a tan. So,
that's okay. I mean, I was in Vegas the week before, and it was nice and warm while we escaped 18 inches of snow. So, it's okay. You don't feel too bad.
Sean, I look forward to seeing you in person, my friend. It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Of course, you're more than welcome to come by the old Broadcast Metroplex and meet the crew.
Oh, absolutely. I plan on doing it before I get on a bus to head to Cranbrook and Trail, which should be fun. It
is Sean Zears, the interim broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. Once again, to recap, Vernon Vipers in Vernon on Thursday, and then they're back home, on Tuesday, and they're back home Thursday and Friday for the Vernon Vipers here at the Town Toyota Center. We're looking forward to that. Sean, I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. And until next week, take care, my friend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much, Dan.